Hey class, so we're back, and for this last piece of the video we are going to be creating our animation for our match. So our match is going to move this direction and turn into the scissors for our match cut, and then it's going to move back again to turn back into a match, and then we're going to loop it and so on and so forth. So now the easiest way to create this animation, rather than actually moving these pieces directly, we're going to create one null object that is going to control all of this animation. So let's double check what a null object is. So that is, null objects are invisible layers in After Effects that can be used for efficient control of movements of other layers. So basically you're going to create a null object that's the parents, and then the other layers are going to be the children, and they're going to move in time with the null object. So let's create that now. I'm going to click off of all of my layers, go to Layer, New, and Null Object, and here is my null object. I'm going to hold down Control while I'm moving it because I want to snap it to a point in my match. So let's hold down, or let's grab it first with our arrow. And as I'm grabbing it, I'm going to turn on Control, maybe Command. And this snaps my null object to like the center line of this object. So that seems pretty perfect. So that's going to be our null, and I'm going to go down to the layer down at the bottom here, hit enter, and let's just call this master control. Perfect. And so I'm going to take my match and I'm going to use this little pickwick, the little spiral here, and drag it to the master control. There we go. And so now if I move my master control, I'm just going to use my position, P for position. It moves my match. I'm also going to turn off visibility of that original JPEG. There we go. And if I wanted to add a solid, so I'm just going to do a new solid, and this time let's make it white and add it down below. There we go. And lock it. Cool, so we have our master control, and it is going to start. I'm going to give it a frame or two delay. I'm going to hit my position keyframe, and then I'm going to move ahead a few frames, so maybe like a second or two. And now I'm going to hold down Command and click, and let's drag it so it's straight over to the center of my, so holding down that Command key and snap it to the center of the scissors. Perfect. So now we have two keyframes here and here. So now we can also parent the scissors to the master control as well. So I'm going to use this little pickwick and drag it to my master control. And so now if I'm going to the left side, I've got them both, and if I go to the right side, I've got them both as well. So I'm going to go a little bit further because I do want this to loop. And I'm just going to copy this keyframe, so Command C, and then Command V. There we go. So now I've got a perfect loop from one to the other, and then back again. I do kind of like having a pause on the end, so I'm going to move this, copy this frame, and paste it here. So I've got like a delay, stays, and then delay. Perfect. And now I'm going to click and drag all of these keyframes, right click, keyframe assistant, and easy ease them too. Perfect. All right, so now we need to figure out exactly when this transformation is going to occur from one piece to the other. And let's just watch this. So all of these are a little on the slow side, so I'm actually going to, before I start doing my transformation, I'm going to click and drag all of them. If I hold down the Option key and click, I can shorten this. Maybe I'll make this 2 seconds. Let's test it out now. Perfect. All right. And I can also just end this entire animation here. There we go. So now if we play, perfect. All right, so last part is just figuring out when the match is going to show and when the scissors are going to show. So I'm going to grab these two keyframes and we're going to use our speed graph for this. So remember that the speed graph is this cool little graph piece icon right here. We're going to click on it and you can see that the areas where it's very steep is where we're getting a lot of speed. And then the areas that are flat, there's not so much speed. So let's make sure that we are looking at our speed graph too. So make sure you're on Edit Speed Graph. And let's maybe make this a little bigger. Okay, so I'm going to grab the handles for each of these. And it's okay if they kind of go out of frame. And I'm just going to make these, oops, sorry, grab the handles. Kind of make them even. There we go. And so this area where it's super steep is where there's maximum speed in this animation, and the same with this one, maximum speed in this animation. So what I'm going to do is drag my time slider to that point in the middle here where we have maximum speed, and then I'm going to zoom back out here. And what I'm going to do is say that this match layer, so let's turn off the speed graph, it is going to be going, it's going to be a match up until it's at this point. So I'm just going to go to Edit and Split Layer. And so I actually have two match layers. So first it's match and then it's match. Let's hide the second match for a minute. All right, so at this point it is a match, and then we need to cut the scissors layer. So let's go to the scissors layer and go to Edit and also Split Layer. And so this first part of scissors, we don't need. There we go. So basically it's going to go from match to scissors, match to scissors. Perfect. So now what do we do when it's turning back to the match? So we need to go back in. Let's grab these keyframes again. Go back to our graph editor and let's go to the other change point. So that's here. And then we can turn off the graph editor. And so from here is where that scissors layer is getting sliced. One little tool, you can either go to Split and Layer, or you can use Option and the right bracket key. And the right bracket key will clip it on the right hand side, and Option and the left bracket key will clip it on the left side. So now we have this quick little scissors layer. And then we need it to turn back into a match. So let's go to our match layer and do Option and the left bracket key, and that will chop it to this layer. That, or you could also go to Edit, Split Layer, and then get rid of any pieces you don't need. All right, so let's make sure that we're seeing this piece. And then we've got our work area here. I can also go to Composition and trim composition to work area. Bam. All right. So let's take a look at what we got here. Let's take a look at what we got here. So I'm just going to click here, press spacebar, and we've got a really nice match cut animation. All right, so the last thing that you need to do is remember that you want to export this as an animated GIF. So we're going to go to Export, Add to Adobe Media Encoder Queue. We're going to wait for that to open and then save it as an animated GIF. So change your match source to animated GIF. So format is going to be animated GIF. Make sure that your work area is correct. So I'm going to trim this just a tiny bit. There we go, so that it doesn't show me any black area right there. Maximum render quality is fine, and then just hit OK. And then remember where you were saving this to. Cool, and then upload your animated GIF to Canvas. All right, thanks class.